Is artificial intelligence the new God? We're going to talk about that today on Happy Hour. Welcome back to Happy Hour, our podcast for young adults here at the Cathedral of the Most Sacred Heart of Jesus. I'm Rick.
And I'm Holly.
And it's Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone. And this does drop today, so it's as we record it, we're dropping it. How about that? I think that's kind of cool.
As if it was live.
Oh, I think, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
We're not video recording this episode, so if you're looking for it, we apologize. I'm just having a bad hair day, so so there's that. Yeah, there's that, and yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Holly, we probably don't have many podcasts left together, do we?
Not too many.
I was just thinking about that. Like,
kind of sappy.
When are you done?
I complete undergrad. Well, I graduate May 18th, so very exciting. It's on a Thursday, which is interesting, but I'll take it.
We should do a live podcast at your graduation.
That would be crazy.
And you can still be podcasting while you're
on
graduating.
stage and like a narrative. Yeah.
Thank you for the diploma.
Thank you. Shake hands. Shake hands. Shake hands.
Oh my gosh.
Picture.
Yep. We could put a remote mic on you and.
We'll do some like commentary.
Oh my gosh, how funny would that be? That would be amazing. My son graduates next Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really?
Yeah, May 6th.
Okay.
It's up in Indianapolis, so it's a whole other world. Really.
God, it's a whole
yeah.
world.
Yeah. But he's done, which is crazy.
That must feel, yeah. It's such an accomplishment, like just to go through all of it and keep trucking along, keep your head down, barrel through all the classwork.
Yeah. Are you going to walk?
Yes, I'll walk.
He's going to walk too. Mm-hmm. I could have cared less. I did not walk. I just wanted out.
You're like, I don't want school anymore. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I don't need to spend another 2 hours here. I just put in 4 years.
Yep.
2 hours too much. Yeah, I did not walk, but that's okay. Maybe I'll walk for my master's.
Oh, yeah. You should.
I don't know.
It's an accomplishment.
It is. Yes.
That'd be awesome.
It is. I just never I don't like making a big deal of things I do.
Right.
That's
good.
I don't know. I just makes me uncomfortable.
You're like, hey guys, I just did this.
Yeah. I do that with compliments too, and maybe I shouldn't always, but if somebody says something, hey, this is you're doing a great job at this.
Yeah.
The reality is it's never just me. We do have a team, so I always like to acknowledge the team. It's we. Instead of the singular language. I don't know. He
is not a soloist.
No, at all. My goodness, no, not at all. There's always a million people behind the scenes. I'm just the face sometimes, and it's not a very good one, but at least I get to be the face of some things. Okay, so speaking of one of those things, we had confirmation last night.
Oh.
We had about 85 young people be confirmed in their faith.
That's so fantastic.
And when I got to stand up and present them to the bishop. And one of the words I used in presenting them to the bishop, because sometimes it can be a very formal thing, like people have statements, Bishop so-and-so, I present to you our candidates for confirmation that have been prepared well. So on behalf of all of our catechists, teachers, faculty, staff, right? Very, yeah.
Standard.
Yeah. I am not that way. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should be more that way. I don't know, but I just couldn't help this. There's something really special about this group. I feel like, and I was trying to remember, I've woken up in my life over 40 days. There's been 40 days of my life, over 40 days of my life where I woke up that day and that day was confirmation. Okay. Usually it's when you wake up that day, there's anxiety and there's definitely nerves, but also maybe a sense of being afraid of things going wrong.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to have the bishop there, and then you've got your own priest there. So your bosses are there, their bosses are there. It's this trickle-down effect, and you don't want...
You're presenting all of them, too.
Yeah,
like, go wrong,
exactly. And all these other pieces that if something goes wrong, it comes back on me. Right. It will immediately reflect on me. And so you wake up and you're like, ugh. But yesterday I woke up with the greatest smile on my face and sense of peace about so what got taken away from me was all those nuances of kind of the checklist items of things that had to happen, photographs, seating arrangements, all that stuff. All of that was stripped away because at the heart of it was, I know these 85 that are being confirmed, and I can say for the most part, every single one of them desperately wants to be confirmed and has a deeper relationship with Jesus because of the program and the way that we journeyed alongside them. I haven't felt as good about a confirmation in a long time, and I apologize if anybody who has been confirmed under me is listening. I apologize for my own inadequacies and my falling short in your years of preparation. I pray the Lord's grace intercedes there. But yesterday I woke up and I just couldn't help but smile and love life and be so excited about what was happening last night, and it was beautiful. Things did not go perfectly right, and things that nobody else would notice, but I notice behind the scenes stuff, and it didn't even matter. It didn't faze me one bit because I got to sit in the front row because I was also a sponsor, and I got to sit in the front row and just watch all of them be confirmed, and you could just see it. You could see the Spirit just alive. It was beautiful.
Oh, that sounds lovely,
yeah.
Honestly. And, I completely relate. With the morning that you wake up for a speech, for a presentation, for an event that you've planned, I automatically feel that gut. Because nothing's you have those 2 hours until it happens. You have the 3 hour, 3 hours of the event and then the cleanup, and then you're processing everything that went wrong or that you could have done better. And to have that sense of peace, that's pretty remarkable. Yeah. Because I don't quite frequently get that.
It was a grace, for sure. But it was also I guess, an approval of the process that we've put into place to make sure that they're encountering God. It was this stamp of approval from the Lord, I think.
It was to say, well done.
Yeah, it's oh no, listen, you're going to make mistakes, and it wasn't perfect all along the way, but you're on the right track. Keep going. That's what I felt like. That was really the sense of what I was getting from the Holy Spirit was, keep going. This is the way. Not to quote The Mandalorian or anything, but it definitely felt like, oh my gosh, this is where I want to live. This feels right, but it's also a head knowledge of knowing it's right. So it was beautiful.
That's beautiful.
So knowing that confirmation happened last night for all of these students, and it was incredible and unbelievable, I'm wondering, could AI do our next confirmation?
I do not think that should ever happen personally.
No?
No, I do not like AI.
Artificial intelligence.
I vote no.
You're a no on that.
I'm a very hard no with most AI related things, I feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe my mind could be opened further, but I would need a lot of convincing.
Sometimes I think the human elements, of course, get in the way of things, but that's also the beauty of our world, is that there's a human element to it.
Right.
I think programs could be run better by AI in terms of garnering what you want to accomplish in that time and how to go about it, just because it has a collective of all the information of human history at its fingertips, what it's pulling from, but also that it creates its own kind of way of doing things as well that is new. I'll give you an example. Someday we could talk about this kind of stuff, but I'd just rather give examples. So I'm going to pull out my phone, Holly.
Oh no.
This is the moment I'm sure that you have been dreading, right?
Oh no. Do you have AI?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I have multiple AI.
Interesting. And then did you have this before this past 2 months, or was this a recent download?
No, this is a recent. Okay. I would say it's been about a month.
Okay. Because I know it's just been the hype the hype started kind of, I would say almost in March. Yeah. And it started picking up the pace, building momentum until now. And it's all, the news is covering. So I know people have been using it for a while, so I didn't know if this was a new thing for you or how you felt about it too.
I'm a huge techie, so I've been involved with this stuff for a long time. But in terms of what I think it can do, there are some great things that it can do. And then, of course, it's a double-edged sword, is how I heard it. Actually, I was listening to a podcast. Mind Matters is a podcast I was listening to, and it was talking, John Lennox, who's the author of this book called 2084, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Humanity, I dove right into it, and it was amazing. He's brilliant. He's an emeritus professor of mathematics at Oxford University. but he's also a pastoral advisor at Oxford as well. So he's an apologist as well as a mathematician.
I love that. Okay, so, I might appreciate his studies and
very much so.
That then. Okay.
Yeah, so Robert Marks is the podcast interviewer, and John Lennox is the interviewee on the podcast I was listening to, and they start kind of talking about this, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I want to show maybe we can show what some of the I guess things that AI can do, its limitations, but maybe also some surprising things.
Okay.
So if I'll give you for instance, ChatGPT is of course the most popular one right now. And I will also say I was it was a couple days ago. I was working out in the mornings, 4:30 in the morning. So I'm on the rowing machine, and I like to either listen to the Catechism in a Year or Bible in a Year, the Alpha Bible in a Year, or Father Mike Schmitz, or whatever. I sometimes listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'll watch a TED Talk, which is what I did this morning.
Okay.
And on that morning, there was a TED Talk from the creator of ChatGPT.
Ooh. So is this fairly recent?
Yes.
Okay.
And there were 2 times in my half-hour workout where I didn't realize it, but then came to realization that I had stopped rowing completely. Because of stuff that he said.
I'm a little scared.
And it was very scary. Mm. I was not happy with the answers he was given as to like the whys of the reasonings of why he's pushing forward with it, but also his maybe morality. Really questionable from that talk.
Getting chills.
Yeah, so it made me nothing stops my workout. That did. So, yes, I've used ChatGPT quite a bit just to test its limits, find some random things. There's some amazing things it does. It's incredible. It's incredible that God could create our minds to be able to create this too.
That's true.
Right? Like
humans made this.
Yeah. Science is not opposed to God, and God is not opposed to science. Right? He's the great scientist, for crying out loud. He created everything. That's science. Of course, we got to be a little trepidatious. We have to be cautious. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this it's a special invite only. Okay. To Google's answer to ChatGPT. So it's not out there for the public. I'm a tester, but it's called Bard.
Okay.
I think at this point now, a lot of more people can be testers. So if they go in, they could probably say, I want to be a tester and be approved. But I've had this for a while, and it's pretty interesting what you can do with it. So for instance, it just asks you to prompt. It just talks about what it is. I'm Bard, we can do something like, I'll just say this. How about help me finish my tagline for an exciting middle school youth ministry event about laser tag. That definitely sounds like a middle school event, right? Doesn't it?
Middle school event, laser tag. I'm game.
Yeah. So it already, I don't know if you can see that. You can probably see this. It came up with 3 possibilities for me already.
Oh my goodness.
And it just says, laser tag, the ultimate middle school youth ministry event. And it says, now this tagline is short, it's catchy, and it's to the point. Okay. Or laser tag, where faith and fun meet.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Right? Or the last one, laser tag, a night of lasers, laughs, and love.
Lasers, laughs. Sounds like a Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. But then it tells you, this tagline is all about the fun and excitement of laser tag. It also suggests that the event will be a time for middle school students to connect with each other and with their faith.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Okay.
That's a good use.
If you're trying to be, if you're not as creative as a person, or for that tagline, you're just like, I'm not getting it. I need to.
Or how about for a part-time youth minister or a volunteer youth minister or even a single youth minister who has no team to run things by? Well, now you've got a whole team of people you can run things by. You can ask it to create, flyers, different things. Very good.
I'm impressed. Does it show documents, like a flyer document, or just like the wording and the literature?
So wording now, but in the future, Bard will do that. Now, other AIs do 100% already do that.
That's amazing.
Okay,
so that's kind of cool.
The one we're just currently using right now, Bard, does not do that yet, and it also won't translate things into other languages quite yet. But I think it can for sure. Yeah. It's Google. I'm certain it can, but they're working on all those algorithms. Now, I'll do one other one for you. Now, this one is where it can get a little, I don't know, different.
Okay.
So I'll just come up with a random something, and we'll see what it comes up with.
Okay.
Give me an email to send to all of our middle school volunteers. Make it fun and exciting, but also uplifting. Include a scripture quote about our next week's meeting on artificial intelligence and faith. Make sure to include a quote from Pope Francis and end it with a question. Now, that's a very specific prompt.
That was very specific.
Right?
Okay.
So, done that. Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, middle school volunteers. I hope this finds you well. I'm writing to invite you to our upcoming meeting on artificial intelligence and faith. This is a topic that is both exciting and challenging, and I think it will be a great opportunity for us to learn and grow together. The meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 8th at 7 p.m. in the church library. We will be discussing the following questions. What is artificial intelligence? How is artificial intelligence changing our world? How can we use artificial intelligence for good? And how can we ensure that artificial intelligence is used in a way that is consistent with our faith? I'm really looking forward to this meeting, and I hope you can join us. In the meantime, I encourage you to read the following scripture passage. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Pope Francis has also said the following about artificial intelligence. AI can be a powerful tool for good, but it is important that we use it wisely. We must ensure that artificial intelligence is used in a way that is consistent with our values and our faith. I hope these quotes give you some food for thought as we prepare for our meeting. I look forward to seeing you there. Sincerely.
Wow, that was pretty. It captured almost, I think, the only thing I think I can remember from what you said was add a question at the end or something.
Yes, and it did not do that.
It did not do that.
No.
But everything else was included.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that?
That's crazy.
So can it be a time saver? Certainly.
Absolutely,
I gave it the prompts. Like if I have no time at all and I need to get an email out to people and I know what I kind of want to say, I feed it in there, it formulates it, I check it, I change a couple things, I send it. Okay. Yeah. Great use of technology. Really, truly it is. But where it gets a little scary, a lot scary, was when I was listening to this podcast as well, and kind of how far down the rabbit hole people are already going. This is not future stuff that I'm about to tell you. This is happening right now, currently. Okay. So one of the people that they talk about in this, so Robert Marks is the interviewer, and John Lennox is being interviewed. And John Lennox is brilliant, Oxford. So they talk a little bit about AI, and then they start to talk about this guy. Where is his name? Anthony Levandowski. He's the co-founder of Waymo and built the Google self-driving car.
Oh.
Okay, so he's kind of a big deal.
Okay.
Uber also hired and fired him because I guess he pulled trade secrets from Google over. But he's clearly got skills and a lot of things. But here's the thing. Where did they start to talk about it? Okay. There's a guy we talked about this offline a little bit, and you said you didn't know about it. This is from the podcast, but I'd like you to comment on it. His name is Levandowski, a Silicon Valley wonderkin, and he has founded an AI church.
What?
So AI is founding churches now, people that worship AI. The name of his church was Way of the Future.
It's for people that worship AI? Is that what he said?
Yes.
That's against the first commandment. It's like it's so literal too. Like we usually talk about figurative ways that we like worship our productivity. We worship validation from others. We worship, more figurative, but that is literal.
Yeah.
I am kind of shocked.
There's a statement here about the Way of the Future church. The AI church claims that human minds will soon be uploaded into a computer and thereby achieve immortality. Right? So we're told that AI software itself will someday write better and better software so as to achieve super intelligence, right? All these things. He says that Let me just see where I want to pull a direct quote from Lewandowski. I don't think I can find it. It's a long article. I pulled all from there. But what I'll say is he talks about how if we can upload our mind to the internet or to wherever, then we do live for it is immortality. But then the body does have to die. But while your consciousness is uploaded, then in the future, bodies can be worked on to create something that doesn't die and that you could then be back downloaded to and live forever in a sentient being.
Sounds like a utopian regenerative dream. Is what I don't want that for my consciousness personally.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It's like playing God. So
yeah. So, and it's, again, this whole article, this podcast really dives deep. But what I love is John Lennox's remarks on this. And this is the first time he's actually hearing about it on this podcast. So he's reacting in real time, which I do love. So Robert Marks says, do you see any chance that Lewandowski's church will ever catch on? And Lennox goes on just to really kind of say, not really, it's the first time he's hearing about it. But he said he'd be initially very skeptical of these kind of churches because it really targets those of a certain kind of people, techie people that can do all that, whereas the church is open to all. It's for all time, right? And he goes on to say that it sounds a little bit like the Tower of Babel, right? And if it's like the Tower of Babel, it's far too small a religion for him, which I love that. That's really good. But also, it's never going to reach the status of God, because God is the creator of all of this stuff, whereas AI can only create within confines, and it can't create life. It can't create, not yet. But even if it could, would it have a soul? Would we, I know Pope Francis has, kind of in jest, I know he had made a remark about Martians. If Martians came, would we baptize them? And he said, absolutely. He spoke a little bit about that. But what if the Martians are artificial intelligence? What if they get a body and can feel emotions and love and all these things? Where does the church stand on that?
Ooh. These are good questions.
Oh, I think so. I think these are questions we need to be asking, right? Because this is not going away. There's over 1,000 artificial intelligence apps and software that's out already, and we're just scratching the surface. And it's getting faster and faster. It's getting smarter and smarter. It's not going to go away. In fact, we have a lot of AI flying planes already, and do all these different things. Right. Like, think about that.
Like you mentioned the self-driving car, and I mean, I recently heard it was I don't TikTok, but it was an Instagram reel. I'm that reel person. I'm raising my hand. I'm that person.
That's right.
But there was a mom, and she was I think she was answering an interviewer, and she mentioned that one time she picked up the phone recently and she heard her daughter crying. And her daughter was crying and saying, Mom, like, I'm so scared to tell you this and all this stuff. Oh, no. And then a man's voice comes into the picture saying, like, put your head down, like, and like ransoming for her life. And the mom said what was remarkable, like not remarkable, but terrifying, I would say, is that it sounded just like her daughter, how she would cry, the intonation, everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that is terrifying to me. Yeah. And I think her daughter was upstairs or something like that. And Mom, what's up? Or something. And her realizing that it was someone using AI for that ransom purpose. Yeah. And that terrified me. Yep. I was like, and I've heard multiple accounts of this. I don't know if you have already or.
Yeah. There is definitely some software out there that makes your voice, you can be anybody. And of course, I'm sure you know about the deep fakes already, right? Like the Tom Cruise deep fakes and right, all those kind of silly, what are seemingly silly things. I think even on America's Got Talent, they did one of these with Simon Cowell.
Really?
This guy got up and looked like Simon Cowell and sung beautiful. Like he had the greatest voice ever. So, I mean, again, all this stuff is here, but as like theologians and as people of faith, I think we need to start asking some questions now and start working through this now, because in the future, we need to have the answers for the future right here in the present. Like we need to start to formulate, what does this look like? Let's take this down and look at this. I just am not a big fan of reacting. I'm a huge fan of being proactive.
Right.
So if you're listening to this today, now perhaps you use AI or anything like that. Maybe you've never heard of it. Maybe this is your first time. I don't know. But what I do know is that it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Now, there might be regulations put on it. Hopefully there are. Hopefully like some kind of agency is going to be starting to regulate all that, because I could see this just spiraling if we don't have confines, it could spiral. I don't know where it could go. I'm certain. I also do know that there is some great usage of this as well. And the last thing that I would probably say is I'm not a fearful person, just because I know, like, I have a deep rooted faith in my God, and I know the truth. And if that's true, then artificial intelligence isn't going to move the needle on that for me. So it's not like I fear artificial intelligence overcoming and becoming God. Some people have been doing that since the beginning of time, putting God as something else, right? We've been tempted from the beginning to kind of be God, haven't we?
Yeah.
Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
If you eat the fruit, what'll happen? Right?
You'll become God.
You become like God.
Yeah. All the Old Testament is like a cycle, repetitive cycle.
Yeah. It just looks different. It's just packaged differently.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say if you're fearful of AI, just remember in the scriptures it tells us not to be afraid. We have a God who is bigger than AI. Right? Like he's bigger than all of this, and that's what we put our hope in. That's what we put our faith in. Yes, we're going to use AI for some great things, and some people are going to use them for terrible things. But can't we say that about most things?
Yeah.
People were saying that about the internet, FYI, way back in the day.
I'm sure they're like, oh my goodness, the capabilities, and we don't have to think anymore, and yeah. And
it's going to be used for such terrible things, and it's from the devil, and I heard it all.
Right.
It's because I'm old. When the internet really started to pop in the mid 90s, it was very fearful. Of course, Y2K, which you probably don't know about, or maybe you've heard about.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, just all these things. How about the Mayan calendar in 2016? The whole world was supposed to end, right? Like all these things, we become fearful, and that drives our actions. But maybe what I would rather encourage us to do is not be fearful, but be faithful. And so let that drive our actions in all that we do. We have a faith in God. So, okay, if we're going to talk about AI, if we're going to deal with AI, yes, but we do it through the lens of a Christian. And that's why I think it's important to have these conversations. Let's start talking about these things. Let's start discovering and finding out, well, what are some pitfalls? Where does morality fall into this? How can we also train up our youth? Because right now they're using it.
Right. They've started.
Do not think for 1 minute that these young kids who are in middle school and even younger are not using AI.
That's scary. Yeah. A little scary. If I had a kid right now, I don't know how I would feel about that, but
that's how people felt about cell phones just a couple of years ago.
So true.
Right? Oh my, I can't imagine my kid having a cell phone. And now every kid has one.
Right.
So what we need to be doing is, instead of focusing our energy on being fearful and saying, no, we can't have that. How about, especially if you know it's here and it's going to happen, how about then we learn it and then we actually train the youth and we train our own kids. I think that's what we're supposed to do, to be quite honest.
How to navigate the world and how to navigate the goodness of things and the evilness of things, right? So, and how to use it for good. I feel like the most prevalent thing would be like, don't cheat on tests or something like that. But yeah, maybe you could use it for, I don't know, like working on a project with someone, but in a productive manner or something like that. So
exactly.
Always trying to figure out how to turn it towards the good of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to end it there. At some point, we're going to do a part 2.
I definitely think so.
On it.
Yes.
As we, you know what? I should challenge you this week. I'm going to challenge you this week. I'm going to challenge you to look for 3 good ways to use AI.
Okay.
Okay. which might mean you might have to actually use it.
I know. Holly over here has
I know. But again, it's about, we're going to do it through being faithful and not fearful.
Right.
And we'll find some good uses to put out there in the podcast world. That's your challenge for this week. I will do the same. I will find 3.
We'll have 6
Yes.
total.
So we'll have 6 next week. We're going to do part 2.
Let's do it.
And it's going to be 6 good uses of artificial intelligence through the lens of the Catholic faith. How about that?
Okay. Sounds good.
That sounds like
I
a
already
title.
have one idea.
Yes.
I'll save it for next week.
1 down, 5 to go. All right. If you like this, please subscribe and share it with somebody so that they can benefit from it as well. And we definitely look forward to seeing you next week on part 2 of our artificial intelligence discussion here on Happy Hour.